I just finished filming this video, so before we start, I do want to point out that this little critter here is fake. It is one of my son's toys. We don't have giant dung beetles or whatever it is in our home. Well, hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Blair Lamb. If you're new around here, I make videos about all the different parts of my life. And today I want to talk about how we keep our home functional when we are overwhelmed, busy, sick, traveling, any number of things that create a level of chaos in the home. I sort of want to talk about the things that I've learned over the past multiple, probably since my daughter was born 5 years ago. Over those 5 years, the things that I've learned that are the most essential to me that really help our home continue to function even when I don't feel like I have very much to give. My husband doesn't feel like he has very much to give when we're kind of all running on empty. These are the things that I think make a really big difference and a big impact on the home still feeling like a sacred environment and a place that functions, that works for our family and meets our needs and those sorts of things. So I have a cup of coffee. There's not much left, honestly. I have been sipping on it for a while. And I wrote some notes that are over to the side. So I'm actually filming on my computer. I did a recent video this way. This is a really easy way for me to sit down and film a quick video because I don't have a whole lot of setup. And honestly, the weather outside, it's so gray and dreary today that there's really no natural light for me to work with anyway. It's very low light, so this is just as good as it's going to get today. Hope you don't mind. I'd like to come up with a name for these sorts of videos where I just film on my computer with like a cup of coffee. I've heard people call them like coffee chats, so maybe something like that. But let's talk about keeping house when it's chaos. So this is not going to be day to day, week to week, my normal routine for keeping our home tidy, organized, the sheets fresh on the beds, the towels fresh, the laundry done, cooking each night, different meals for dinner. It's not all of that. This is the bare basics of what I do and what we prioritize when life is a lot and we're overwhelmed. And so for us, that normally is when one or more family members are sick. That definitely creates a level of overwhelm. When work is really busy for me or my husband or both of us, that creates a lot of overwhelm. When one or both of our kids are going through whatever it may be, in the past, like teething or sleep regressions or things like that. Now that they're 3 and 5, it may be a behavior that they're in a stage of behavior that's really challenging. That can create a lot of overwhelm. All of those things, traveling when we are in and out of town and packing up and leaving and coming home, that definitely for me creates, as much as I love to travel, it's my very favorite thing to do. The back and forth and in and out and packing and unpacking and laundry and everything definitely creates overwhelm. So I'm just going to kind of talk through that today. I hope this helps you because I know that at this time of year, in particular, there is a lot of overwhelm. There are a lot of things going on for adults and children. And so if you are a family like we are, I know it's a ton. But it's really a ton for anyone at this time of year. There's end of year stuff going on in virtually every industry, every school, everywhere. And then we have the holidays coming up, so preparing for those, travel if you're traveling, all of the financial stress that comes along with the holiday season, and on and on and on. First, I want to kind of talk about how I have had to mentally change my mindset around this topic entirely from who I used to be before to who I am now. We are two different people, very much so. So before I got married, I lived alone in a very cute little apartment for a few years with my dog Charlie, who is around here somewhere. And I was fastidious. My home was clean all of the time. The refrigerator was in labeled, organized bins. If you used to follow my blog, which I still have, it's called blairblogs.com, there is evidence, photographic proof of all of this. I was so neat and tidy. My whole entire apartment was like an episode of The Home Edit. It wasn't as aesthetic as that, but it was exactly as organized as that. Everything was in a bin, everything was labeled. I had very specific routines and schedules. The floor was always mopped, the sheets were always cleaned, my laundry was done every day. I went and shopped at the grocery store at the same time every week. I think you get the picture. Extremely type A, very by the book. Everything was always neat and clean, and that's the way I liked it. That is my natural go to. I don't have to work super hard at that. That's what I like. I really prefer order and tidiness. And it comes naturally to me to create an environment like that. But then I got married to a wonderful man who is very type B, much more relaxed, not nearly as organized as I am, and can function in a much different sort of environment than I can function in. If you've ever watched one of the vlogs where I've gone up to Riley's office versus if you've ever seen my office, you can just put those side by side. His is just, he's like a creative through and through, and it's just, in my opinion, it's a lot, but in his opinion it's functional and it works for him, and he doesn't see the need for it to be any more organized than what it is at that point. So we're very different people in that respect, and so we moved in together after we got married, and that was a wild ride. Those first few months were very interesting, especially because we lived in a teeny tiny apartment. It was very little, and we were just trying to work it out and figure out how to work together. And so I had to let go of my need for things to be deeply organized. And then Riley, my husband, had to lean into being more organized and putting things back where they belong, and like respecting my need for that. And we had to come to a middle ground. And so I had to let go of certainly some of those behaviors, like right from the jump of our marriage, which was almost, it's been nine plus years now, that we've had a very happy marriage through an eldest daughter type A and a middle son type B, like coming together, So that's kind of the backstory to that. So my preference is for things to be fully organized at all times, but I let go of some of that getting married because I simply had to maintain some peace, just as same as Riley had to pick up some more tidy behaviors in order to, find a middle ground between the two of us. But then we had kids, and when you have babies, it's a little different. There's baby stuff everywhere, but still, babies are babies. They're not like necessarily getting into things until they start moving. But once these kids are mobile, everyone knows it is wild. And after both of our kids were born and they were both moving about the house, it is a whole different ball game. It is a completely different ball game. Kids have the ability to get into things and mess things up so fast, and it's wild to see. That's a bit of the backstory. So through all of that, I have learned some things, and let me share them with you now. First of all, I have had to learn that when we are in a season of overwhelm or busyness or just a lot going on, I have to focus on function first. So I don't love having toys dumped out around the house or books all over the floor in my kids' rooms or whatever. But they can still get in bed. We can still be on the couch and hang out if there's toys around. But I can't wash dishes if there are dishes all over the sink and the sink is piled high. I can't cook in a kitchen that has stuff and it's dirty everywhere. I can't get dressed in the morning, nor can my husband or children, if the laundry's not done. And so I have had to learn to prioritize function first. What is going to make our home functional? And those are the tasks that I must tackle first. Even though there's a part of me that's like, clean up all the toys, organize them all, put them into like organized bins. That is what I want to do. And I often will get to that eventually, but primarily and first and foremost, it's got to be function first. So what that looks like for me is a clean kitchen every single night. Even when our house looks like the Tasmanian devil has run through it and it is just wacko, crazy out of whack, I still every night make sure, or my husband does, we take turns. When I'm using the word I don't do every single chore in our family. We tag team it, but I am the one speaking. The kitchen gets cleaned every single night. So that means all of the dishes are done and loaded in the dishwasher, and the dishwasher is started before bed. All of the countertops are wiped down and sanitized. All of the food is put away. The kitchen table is wiped down and sanitized as well. And that's pretty much those are like the main pieces. It's all got to be reset because waking up in the morning to a dirty kitchen is a no-go for me. Like, no matter what, that has to be done. That creates a level of functionality that otherwise would not exist. And so that is a tippy top priority for us, is no matter what the rest of the house looks like, the kitchen is clean and sanitary and it is reset every single night. All of the dishes are done, all of the food is put away. Then you're not getting bugs in your house, all of that. The kitchen's got to be done. The next thing that has got to be done is laundry. We need clean clothes in order to function, and every morning we need to wake up and have clean clothes to put on and leave the house. So the way that I do laundry is I do one load from start to finish, usually about every single day, and I do not start another load until that first load is completely done and put away in dressers, drawers, and closets. So, what some people may do, and I understand the reasoning behind this, but in function for me, it does not work. So, what some people do is they start a load of laundry in the washing machine. When that's done, they pop it in the dryer and then they start another load in the washing machine. Then they take the first load out of the dryer, put it in a laundry basket, move the second load over, start a third load in the washing machine. What ends up happening is there's so many clean clothes now that have been dried but not folded and not put away that it becomes this insurmountable task. It's so much work. It's hours, or it feels like hours. It's probably like 45 minutes of work, but in my mind, at least, I always build it up like I don't have 4 hours to fold laundry. It's not usually, but it becomes overwhelming. And when you're already in a state of overwhelm, that's not what we're looking for. So instead, this is something I would love for you to try. I love doing this. This is what I do. I really stick with it. It is my preferred way of doing laundry all of the time, but certainly in weeks of overwhelm. So here's what I do. Put a load of laundry in the washing machine. When it beeps and it's done, I move it over to the dryer. When it beeps and it's done, I fold it right out of the dryer. I close the lid on my washing machine and fold it up on top of my washing machine. And then directly from there, I go and put it away. And then that load is fully complete and done. And I'm ready, if I'm going to do another load, to do another load. In some ways, again, I know it might seem counterintuitive because you could be saving time, but I find that the extra time is okay for me because it actually gets done. The laundry actually gets folded and put away where it needs to go, rather than piling up to where it's wrinkled and it doesn't even smell good anymore because it's been sitting out somewhere. Our laundry machines are it's almost like a mudroom entryway from our garage. And so if they sit out in there, that door gets opened all of the time and they get like a musty smell from the garage. No. One load at a time, start to finish. That way you know that it's completely done. You can mentally check it off and you can start another load at a time when you know you are going to be at home. Another laundry hack that I love to do is at night before bed, I will put a load of laundry into my washing machine and then set a delay. Most washing machines have a delay function, and I'll delay it for 8 hours. So it will start just about when I'm waking up. So the clothes are fresh and I can move them into the wash right when I wake up. They will be about finished. And then later that day, I'll fold them and put them away. Musty laundry is not for me. So there's some little laundry tips and hacks. One load at a time, start to finish, completely done. Check it completely off your list before you start the next one. When you're already overwhelmed, you don't need 6 loads of laundry piled high on your sofa to fold. Nobody needs that. No, nobody needs that. Next up, let's talk about food, because aside from a place to cook your food, like your kitchen, and clean clothes, you need to be able to eat in your home. I think a lot of times when it's an overwhelming time in our family, we end up eating out more, and then you just feel even worse because oftentimes when you're eating out, you're eating much less healthy foods than you would if you just were eating at home. So I wrote a list here of some of our family's favorite go-to meals. We always have these ingredients on hand and they don't require any pre-planning. It's just you just can make them in like 30 minutes and be done. So my main go-to is taco meat. So I will either use my Instant Pot if it's a frozen pound of ground beef, or if it has been thawed, if I've had that amount of foresight, which I usually have not. So I use our Instant Pot a lot to get frozen ground beef cooked quickly. And so I will cook that up with some taco seasoning, which I just buy the big taco seasoning, so I always have it on hand. And then I'll make any variety of things: burrito bowls, tacos, salads, nachos. Like there's so many different things, and we always have those ingredients on hand all of the time. So it's really easy for me to find something that I can feed my family with that night. And quesadillas, my kids love all of those things. So that's really easy. Along the same lines, chicken, grilling up chicken or instant potting chicken with like a can of salsa and then shredding it. That's great for all of those same things, for more of like a fajita style. But that is such an easy way. And then you can put it in wraps, like I said, salads, bowls, burritos, tacos, fajitas, just anything. Another meal that we always have on hand, in fact, this is what I did last night when we were in a pinch, is spaghetti or some kind of pasta with some kind of jarred pasta sauce that I didn't have to make. If I have them on hand, I will also heat up like some frozen meatballs or something like that, but sometimes I don't have that, and that's okay too. So like last night, I just had some spaghetti and I boiled the spaghetti, cooked it, and then I had like half a jar of the Rao's or Rao's, however you pronounce it, marinara sauce. And I just mixed that with the spaghetti and put some Parmesan cheese on top. And that was our dinner with a couple of sides. So, you can steam some broccoli that you have in the freezer. You can pull out a can of green beans. You can make a small side salad, but that's like easy, fast, 30 minutes. Didn't require any pre-planning. You just have it and it's done. Chicken prepared anyway: grilled chicken, instant pot chicken, shredded chicken, buffalo chicken, pan-fried chicken, oven-baked chicken with a couple of sides. It's a very easy meal. We do that a lot. It goes over well with the kids. They can just have some sauce to dip the chicken in. And then for adults, we'll just serve it over, depending on what the chicken is, like serve it over rice or serve it with a crusty piece of bread and a salad or some veggies or roasted sweet potatoes, any number of things that can be done quickly that we always have on hand. Sandwiches are a great dinner item. We do sandwiches from time to time. It's something that people don't think about. I think a lot of people think of sandwiches as lunch food, really easy dinner food. A lot of times you already have some kind of meat, cheese, and some of the different toppings on hand. And for dinner, a lot of times we will either use like a panini press or we will just grill them on our stovetop just so they're warm and melty. Maybe put a little butter on the bread so it's like a jacked up ham and cheese, grilled ham and cheese, or a jacked up grilled cheese for the kids with just some extra stuff in it to make it more filling. That goes really well with a can of soup. Also super easy, really quick. Another thing we always have on hand. Breakfast for dinner is a really fast and easy way to get dinner on the table. We do breakfast for dinner a lot during busy weeks. So we'll just make, it's breakfast. Fry up some hash browns, fry up some bacon or sausage, scramble some eggs, French toast or pancakes, cut up some fruit. Any number of things can be so easy to get on the table quickly. So breakfast foods are a huge, huge player on busy weeks for us and just getting food on the table. And last but not least, frozen meals are such a good option when you're in an overwhelming season. I'm so tired of people, specifically on the internet, never really in real life, creating shame around different food options. Everything has a purpose. And just as like the freshest, most delicious, colorful, vitamin rich meal has a purpose, so does a frozen pizza, because sometimes our sanity is on the edge and we do not have the bandwidth to do some kind of delicious rainbow beautiful meal that our kids may or may not eat. Sometimes it's frozen pizza and some veggies, like some cut up cucumbers to dip in ranch. Don't let anyone make you feel bad or less than for that. Getting food on the table every night for the rest of your life, especially with kids who again may or may not eat it, is a endless endeavor. And so some nights it's okay to press the easy button and just heat up a frozen pizza, frozen lasagnas, chicken nuggets, a box of mac and cheese. All of that has a place. Use it when needed. And don't feel bad about it. Feel good that you're feeding your family. Stepping out of the food category and just talking about general keeping up with the house, I have found personally that the easiest way to keep the house tidy on a day-to-day basis is to have less stuff overall. Decluttering during our move 18 months ago or so helped a lot because we knew that we were, we moved from our old house into this new house. And when you're moving and you're packing up and you're touching every single item that you own, you're not bringing things you don't want to see again. You're only bringing the things you really care about. So that's that. But not everyone is moving and has the chance to do like a huge declutter. And so when that's not possible, the onion method of decluttering is such a game changer. The onion method of decluttering, basically, just if you think of an onion and the layers of an onion, you start at the outside and you peel your way into the inside. So you start with easy, obvious, non-sentimental things that you have no problem letting go of, and you just do it little by little. So while I have a frozen pizza in the oven, I might open up our junk drawer and grab out pens that don't have ink in them, pencils that are down to the nub, anything that would be broken, pieces of like toys or stuff that we thought we were going to fix, or super glue. It's never happening. Random puzzle pieces, whatever it is. You take things that are just obviously trash, that obviously you don't need, you're not going to use, and you get rid of them. And then maybe the next night when you're cooking up some spaghetti on the stovetop, you open the junk drawer again and you grab a few more things. And then a couple weeks later, you open the junk drawer again and you're like, oh, like this, we don't need this anymore. We don't need this invitation anymore. We don't need this paperwork anymore. I'm going to shred it. I'm going to get rid of it. Do you see what I mean? So you just start with the easy, the obvious, and the non-sentimental, and you slowly work your way to the more difficult items. And this works in any space. So like when my kids are taking a bath, the only bathtub in our house is in our bathroom, and so I'm in my room anyway. I often will do a pass through my closet and through my drawers and get rid of anything that doesn't fit, that I don't wear anymore for one reason or the other, that is out of style and I'm not going to wear it. Any number of reasons. I just take those and I put them in a donation box. That's easy. And then when I have more time and I'm like more focused, I'll get rid of things that I like but I just never reached for, or things that I want to sell because they've never been worn, they've only been worn once or twice. Again, the onion method can make a big difference. I think people a lot of times have this misconception that the only way to really get their house in order is to take off of work for a week and spend 12 hours a day decluttering. But that is exhausting. No one has time for that. So instead, think about just incorporating decluttering into your life, just folding it in little by little while you're brushing your teeth, just rifling through your makeup drawer and tossing out things that you no longer wear, that are crusty and old, that you don't wear those colors anymore, or they're worn out, you've hit the pan, there's no more lipstick in the tube, you know? So that's overall, that's really the best way to keep your house in order, is just to have less stuff in your house overall. But when you're overwhelmed, you're not in the mindset to do a whole house declutter. So instead, just get rid of stuff as you see it. I have become ruthless. When I find a piece that goes to some toy or game or something and I can't think off the top of my head where it's from, I'm tossing it. When I'm in the kitchen and I come across something that's broken, I'm tossing it. When I'm in the kids' closets or in my closet and I come across something that doesn't fit, I'm donating it. And I don't think about it a lot anymore. Those things are gone. Those things are gone. Kind of the sister to that is that out of sight, out of mind is okay for a season. If you this month and next month are at your peak overwhelm, you're stressed out, you've got a lot going on at work, your kids have been sick, you've been sick, you're taking care of a parent, you've got a health issue going on, finances are tight, work is really stressful, you're having a hard time with a family member or a friend, you deserve to have your home feel peaceful. And sometimes it means putting things in a closet, putting things in a cabinet, and shutting the door and revisiting at a later date. I have been known to do this and I am not ashamed of it. So like when my kids' toys are like getting to me and making my eye twitch because I'm so tired of looking at them, sometimes the best thing that I can do is just like these 3 cabinets that are in front of our TV. Sorry, I'm like backwards, so when I do it, it feels wrong. We have 3 cabinets in front of our TV where our kids' toys are primarily kept. Sometimes those 3 get opened up, everything gets shoved inside. and the doors get closed and our living room looks clean. Nothing is organized. There's stuff in there that needs to be decluttered or tossed. There's stuff that doesn't belong in there. But I need for my sanity sometimes to sit on my couch and watch an episode of Dateline with my husband and not look at a sea of messy toys. And that's okay. And that's okay. It's okay sometimes to just say, I will deal with this later, but visually, the visual clutter is raising my blood pressure. That's a real thing. And I've got to get rid of it. So out of sight, out of mind is fine for a season. Sometimes you just need to say, I can't deal with this right now. I don't want to look at it anymore, and put it to the side and then deal with it later. The beautiful thing is for certain items, if you pack them away and then like 6 months later, you're like, never even looked at this, thought about this, or opened this box, you can just toss it or donate it and be done with it. So then the decisions are really easy. The last thing on my list for today is really realistically thinking, what can you not do? What can you let go of? The Blair that I was talking about back when I lived alone in my cute little apartment in Austin with my dog, I felt like there was nothing I couldn't do. Like everything had to be done. The whole house was reset every single night. Before I left for work, the entire house was clean. I mean, like perfectly clean. Everything was tidy. Everything had a place. And I felt like that's how it had to be because that's how I prefer to live. Boy, kids change you. I no longer feel like that. I have learned to not only just live and survive, but actually thrive and really just enjoy life, even when our house is not to the state that I would like it to be. When things are really hard, when life is overwhelming and our house is equally overwhelming, I've learned that there's a lot of things that I don't have to do. I don't have to organize toys and books every single time before I put them up. It's okay to just put them away and close the door and just let it be. That's fine. I no longer fold my kids' pajamas because I don't care if they're wrinkled or not. So you should see, it would make 2013 Blair, heart palpitations. But now it is what it is. I don't have time to fold a billion tiny pajamas every single week. It's overwhelming. It takes forever. And it makes me not want, it's like a barrier to folding laundry because it just takes so long. They're always inside out. They're always entangled. So we have a drawer. I open up the drawer and I shove them all in. You wouldn't believe it, but that's what I do for pajamas. Some people do that with all of their kids' clothes, or at least all of their kids' clothes that they don't care if they get wrinkled or not. I've even heard people doing that with like adult clothes, with t-shirts and stuff. I do care that my t-shirts are not like wrinkled in a ball, but if you don't, then just stop folding them. Dish towels are the same way. You don't have to fold like everything. I think just taking an honest look at all the different pieces of your life and realizing that not everything actually has to be done. It's going to be okay if you let go of some things. For me, what I really prefer is before bed to do a whole house reset. I like everything to be fully reset, including the kitchen. I like a load of laundry started. I like clothes set out for me and the kids. I like lunches packed. I like our main living space. Which way is it? Here. Sorry. It's really weird watching yourself opposite. I like our main living space fully reset before bed. But what I have learned is sometimes all of those things are not possible. And so what's most important to me is a clean kitchen and clean laundry. And those other things, it's fine. It's fine. That is all of that. Last but not least, you can ask for help. You can hire a cleaning service once. You can hire a cleaning service bi-weekly. You and a friend could say, listen, we both have got to get our houses clean. I'll come over to your house and the kids can play and we will work on resetting your home. And then, next week, let's do my house. I know multiple people who do things like that. I think it's very, very cool. And it's a great way to build community and spend time together. And also, it just makes the work so much less overwhelming when you have a buddy and you have a friend to do it with. Asking for help in the form of babysitting when this is something that I do a lot. When I really need to reset our home and it's been a stressful week, typically on Saturdays or Sunday afternoons, I will ask Riley to take the kids out and they go to Home Depot and look at the Halloween displays or the Christmas displays, or he'll drive to his mom's house and they'll spend time with her, or he'll take them out to eat, or he'll just go do something, one-on-one or one-on-two, however you want to say that, just him with the kids, and I will have the house to myself to get things done. Because I am home throughout the week because I work partially from home. But when I'm at home during the week, I'm mostly working. I sometimes will have time to do a lot of housework, but usually it's just keeping the main things going, like laundry and dishes. I don't usually have tons of extra time to like sort toys and organize them. So you've got to learn to wave your white flag sometimes and just say like I need some help. Hiring a babysitter and asking her to take your kids to the park for a few hours because you need the house to yourself, that's also an acceptable, awesome solution. Basically, you need to do what you need to do to function, and don't let anyone make you feel any type of way about that. If that's hiring help in any form or fashion, if that's eating frozen meals a couple of days a week while you get through a busy season, or whatever that may be, just let it be. You've got to function in your home, and I have let go of so many of the must do's and have really learned to create a home that is warm and inviting and comfortable and relaxed and peaceful. And it's not always completely tidy and it's not always completely clean, but it functions for our family. And that's really what matters. So I would love to hear if you would type below in the comments and share what are your must do's when you're overwhelmed, when all of these things are going on in life and you're not able to maybe maintain your home to the level that you would personally prefer. What are the things that you just don't skip? Like for me, it's laundry and dishes. Like those things have got to be done for us to function, and so that's what I do. And then other things just have to fall to the side for a little bit. What is that for you and your family? Would love to hear. I hope this helps you adjust your mindset perhaps a bit moving into this holiday season where things can be very overwhelming. There can be a lot going on. I hope that you find peace and joy amidst the stress, and just there's a lot. It's a lot at this time of year. Something that I did to hopefully help with the overwhelm of the gift aspect of this time of year, which is could be a whole video in and of itself, is that I put together a series of gift guides that I will link below. So I put together one for kids stocking stuffers, one for adult stocking stuffers, one for little girls, one for little boys, one for women, and one for men. And I have spent so many hours pulling these gift guides together, and there are options on in each of them that range from just a few dollars to big ticket items. So I really hope that that helps you this year with your holiday shopping, sparking ideas and just giving you some things that you can grab that are quick and easy. So I will link all of those gift guides below if you are interested in checking them out. I hope that just helps you to check those items off your list at this time of year when it's a bit wild. So I hope that you can find some peace, and I hope that you give yourself grace to let things go that you don't necessarily need to do so that you can live in a really functional home that might not be perfect. That's okay. I love you guys. I hope you're having a really good day, and I will see you in the next one.